Here's my very best advice for hitting a new level and how to do so quickly. You're probably doing it wrong. You're probably just trying to win more, work harder, wrestle harder, shoot more, score more, win more. And your wrestling's probably hectic. Try to cut your losses in half. If you were, 35 and 15 last year, if you could have just, if you can cut those losses in half, what you're also doing is those other, let's say 7 or 8 kids who maybe you're still losing to, now you're only losing to them by 2 to 4 points rather than getting beat by 8 to 15 points. So, at the end of the day, you're pretty much getting the same results, which is more wins, but you're doing it as a different, more of a strategic approach. And trying to win more means go harder, more effort. Trying to lose less, you're most likely learning to stay in the match. We've been preaching this for almost 25 years. I would rather you win 1-0 than 13-12. And you say, well, it's the same thing. It's actually very, very different. And you say, well, but I did score 13 points. And I'm like, I don't care. You gave up 12 points. And your Pee-wee matches are 3 minutes. Your high school matches are 6. I mean, you give up a point every 30 seconds. So in practice, if you wrestle an hour of live wrestling, I mean, are you giving up 120 points? Yeah, probably am. Well, then you're not a great wrestler. You're just doing it wrong. It's like, I don't care. I don't only care about how many knockouts you have. I'm like, dude, you're taking damage out there, bro. Yeah, I knocked him out. Yeah, but look at your face. It looks like a freaking hamburger. You got the shit beat out of you. And you're telling me that you're a great boxer? Hey, I won another tournament this weekend. I'm like, yeah, you're going to have brain damage by the time you're 18 years old. You think this is good? It's not good. Floyd Mayweather is very famous for not getting hit. And he's 50-0. I guess maybe 51-0 now. So, and some people call him defensive and say that I am preaching defensive wrestling. No, I'm just preaching against hyper, stupid, erratic, crazy, hyper aggressive, stupid wrestling. I'm against that. It makes no sense to me because what happens is by wrestling that way, you might beat a state champion and then, they're singing songs about you on the bus ride home after the tournament, and then 2 days later, you walk around the hallway with your chest sticking out for 2 days, and rightfully so. Then you get beat by a JV kid, and your coach and parents are like pulling their hair out. Well, dude, you just wrestle like a slob. You're not going to win doing that, not consistently. So if you wrestle, we call it tighten up your wrestling. Tighten up. Let's learn to hold position, slow down, take our time. Let's learn to win. Don't just try to turn someone on bottom when you're on top. Ride them, hold them down against their will, then turn. It's control. Let's quit giving up our legs 8 times a weekend. Well, I'm really good there. I'm a scrambler. Scrambling is stupid. Scrambling means you got taken down and thrown on your butt and you've wiggled out of it and like a squirmy worm. It's a skill you need to have, but you should only use it like twice a year. It should not be your go-to way of scoring takedowns. I always say when the Iowa Hawkeyes let people shoot on them and then they squirt around on their butt for takedowns, then we'll start doing it. They're probably the most consistent, solid wrestling athletes in the sport of wrestling. And they've been that way for, 40 years. So, yes, worry about cutting your losses in half and even your wins. If I win 14-9 and I got put on my back 3 times, don't have a celebration. You basically, the other guy ran out of time before beating you. But the reverse is also true. That clock does not have a lot of time on it. So the best way for you to become tremendous in wrestling is to tighten up your wrestling, slow down, hold your position, and look at, okay, well, I won the tournament. I went 5-0 this weekend, and no one touched my leg. And I rode everybody except for one guy, and I rode him for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I turned 2 out of the 5 wrestlers. And I never gave up my wrist on bottom. I never got caught in a double arm bar. I got to my feet consistently in my matches. I eventually got away. I got to my feet and stayed on my feet. No standing switches and goofy, silly, sloppy wrestling. My attacks, I didn't shoot 9 times a match, but I shot, 3 to 4 times a match, and I got at least 3 takedowns a match, and no one got to my legs. And my shot to finish ratio was 90%, Okay.